Welcome to the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast short video of the day. Today is Friday. Hope you had a great week. Having a system issue at my job, so I can't get on and get any work done, which is normally would be a good thing, but have a lot of work to do, so you know how that goes. So I thought I'd jump on for a quick live today. For the same reasons I usually come on, I discuss the current episode that's available right now, which is my discussion and review of the 1984 movie Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante. So check that out. The audio is available right now on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. You can also watch the video version of the podcast on the YouTube channel, which is Let Me Bend Your Ear Podcast, on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Let Me Bend Your Ear, and also on the Twitter page. The Twitter handle is @BendYourEarPod. I'm also very excited about the next episode that will be dropping actually tomorrow morning. That will be episode 80. That is my tribute to director Richard Donner. If you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you know that Richard Donner directed one of my top 5 films on my list of movies that made me love movies. So it's not, my list is not necessarily the best 5 movies I think that are ever made. These are the 5 movies that have influenced me as a movie fan. And Richard Donner directed one of those films, which is 1978 Superman the movie. So check out my tribute. That'll be dropping tomorrow, again, on all the audio platforms and also on the YouTube channel and on Twitter as well. So check out episode 80. I'm also excited. I'm going to be recording an episode with a friend of mine. We're going to be reviewing another 80s movie. I'll reveal that in a couple of days, but we'll be recording that live on Sunday. And I'll let you know what that movie is going to be. Or actually, no, I'll just let you know now. We're going to be discussing Brewster's Millions, which is the movie with John Candy and Richard Pryor. So my friend Mike actually suggested that we review it. He was going to come on and do another movie, but he suggested that one instead. And that's a really good 80s movie. So I'm definitely going to do that. I'm a big fan of John Candy and also of Richard Pryor. So I saw that movie actually in the movie. So we are going to discuss and review it together. And I want to put the call out there to anyone watching this live video now or who watches it later. If you want to come on, like I said, I don't do guests very often. I usually fly solo when I do the podcast, but I'm trying to incorporate more guests as I can. It's a little harder for me to do it for the main reason is my schedule of recording is usually late in the evening because I have 2 small children. And usually when everybody goes down to bed is when I record the show. So it's easier for me to do that on my own. So I don't have to have the logistics of getting somebody on that's available. And I can come on and do either live episodes whenever I want. And then since they're going to be on the audio feed later, there's no tight schedule that I have to keep as long as I can keep shows in the queue. But with that being said, I want to try to incorporate other guests into the show because as I stated in the last few episodes, I'm attempting to grow the show and I want to make a big effort to do that. And I do know that having guests on is a way to do that. People are more engaged when you have 2 people having a conversation about a movie as opposed to me doing it by myself, which I love doing anyway. And I'll primarily do that with my show, but I want to at least make the effort. So I've got some friends that I have lined up to come on, but if you're interested, if you're a fellow podcaster, or if you are a listener of the show, please hit me up. There's 2 ways to get me. The best way is on Twitter. You can either send me a DM on Twitter or tweet at me @BendYourEarPod. If you want to discuss a movie you'd like to discuss and review that I haven't done yet, I'll be happy to do that. And we'll record the episode. Like I said, I do all my episodes live. If I have to do it with audio only, I can. My preference is to do them live because I like to record them live and then I pull the audio for the audio podcast. So that would be my preference to do it. And even if we do it live, we could do it audio only, or we can do it with audio and video, whichever you're more comfortable with as the guest. So I'm good either way, as long as we can do it live, and then I can have it for the audio feed and for the YouTube channel. So let me know, hit me up on Twitter if you want to discuss and review a certain movie that you love. And we can talk about it and review it on the show for one of the episodes. That'd be great. So I'm putting the call out there for anybody that watches these videos or listens to the audio podcast. So I'll continue to do that and put the call out there. So again, we're going to be reviewing and talking about Brewster's Millions. That episode I'm going to do live on Sunday evening, and then it'll be on the podcast feed next weekend. But again, episode 80 dropping tomorrow is going to be my tribute to director Richard Donner. Of course, is a great director of Superman, Goonies, The Omen, Lady Hawk, Lethal Weapon, Maverick, and a bunch of great movies. So definitely check that episode out. It's going to drop tomorrow. So again, this is the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. I discuss and review movies new and old. You can follow the show on social media, Twitter @BendYourEarPod, Instagram, Bend Your Ear Pod, Twitch, Bend Your Ear Pod. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's Let Me Bend Your Ear Podcast. And please like the Facebook page for the podcast. That is facebook.com/Let Me Bend Your Ear. If you want to email the show, if you don't want to come on and review a movie with me, but you have a suggestion on a movie you'd like me to review, email the show, bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. Or again, you can hit me up on Twitter. That's probably the quickest way to get a hold of me. Email is great, but definitely on Twitter, I'm on there mostly every day, talking movies with people, with other podcasters, discussing movies. So that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And if you reach out, I will respond usually pretty quickly. So check me out there. So again, if you know people that are looking for a new movie podcast, please lead them over to this one, Let Me Bend Your Ear Podcast. Have them follow the show or subscribe. The show is available on most podcasting apps, specifically Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Podbean, and Amazon Music. And I'm sure it's available in other places unofficially, but I don't know. But those are the ones that the podcast is certainly on. And if you do listen on one of the podcasting apps, if you could, please rate and review the show. Hopefully you give it 5 stars if you like it. If you do, just do that. That's a great way you can help the show reach a larger audience. So I'll ask that every episode. Most podcasts you listen to will ask that, because it's a very important tool to get exposure out there for your podcast, especially if you're like me and you are a podcaster, independent podcaster, looking to grow an audience. So again, if you can do that, that'd be great. The other thing, if you can retweet, share my social media post. I post about every episode. If you can share and repost those, that'd be great. That's another great way you can help new audiences find this podcast. Because again, like I said, I've incorporated the video element for both episodes and for live short videos like this about 2 months ago. And like I said, for me, it was a little intimidating at first, but I've actually come to enjoy it. It's kind of cool that I can jump on live anytime I'm available and discuss the podcast, discuss a movie, or anything like that. I normally would have a movie recommendation, a quick 30-second one. I don't have one today because I just jumped on really quickly. I wasn't planning on coming on right now. But I promise on the next video, I will pop in and give you a 30-second movie recommendation. You can check out the last 2 that I did. I recommended My Blue Heaven, I think it's 1990 film with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. So definitely check that out. So that was on my last video. So if you haven't seen that movie, comedy, very, very funny, I would check that out. So again, thank you for tuning into the video, and thank you for listening to the podcast. My numbers have increased on download, so thank you again. I'm very appreciative of that. I want to continue to grow the show. So if you really like the show, like what you see, like what you hear, please share the show with a friend or family member, or share it on your social media. And even if you're not a movie buff and you know someone in your family or a friend of yours that is a movie buff that likes to talk movies, share it with them as well. Like I said, there's 4 million podcasts out there. I know that. And there's a podcast for whatever you have an interest in. So if movies is not your thing, but you know it's somebody else's thing, please share that with them. I would really appreciate it. And again, you can find me on social media at Bend Your Ear Pod. And you can email the show at bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. So again, that's it for the live video today. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Like I said, look out for episode 80, which will be dropping tomorrow morning, which will be my tribute to director Richard Donner. Take care. Have a fantastic weekend.